full of life, energy, and many residents say hidden dangers. And many others argue full of people grossly misunderstood and duly stereotyped and branded as violent miscreants.
Yes, we all admit that in the past, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 70s, crime rate at Ashaiman has always been in ascendancy. But as we speak now, it has reduced drastically. For a very long time, you wouldn't hear any crime, a major crime committed in Ashaiman. But unfortunately, this incident just occurred and then it has brought Ashaiman back to the limelight. When the youth are unemployed and they still have to make an ends meet, they will need to find ways and means to get that for themselves, and that is all the more reason why there should be criminal activities in some areas. Lack of education, where people are not able to, or facilities are not at our disposal, their disposal are unavailable, then you see people being idle. And so the devil finds job for their idle hands. Then you see them committing this kind of criminal acts.
My name is Godwin Asideba, and on this edition of The Assignment, I will examine how a community's notoriety, perceived or real, has been in a nation's focus after the murder of a 21-year-old soldier and the Ghana Army's brutal, heavily criticized, some say disproportionate reaction.
Those who brutalize, the perpetrators, must also be brought to book, must also be punished one way or the other. And that is what we are fighting for. It is also unlawful and unnecessary for the military to just invade a civilian community just in search of criminals or 2 or 3 criminals and then molesting, brutalizing innocent residents of a community, people who might have not known anything relating to the killing of the soldier.
On Saturday, March 4, 2023, Efiachra had no idea her 21-year-old soldier was in town until she received a phone call that has thrown her into utter devastation.
He told me he was coming to Accra, but I didn't know he'll come to Ashaiman because he had a test. It's really difficult for me. I didn't want my son to die such a painful death.
There has been several theories about what happened to the Sunyani-based soldier. The Ghana Army and the Ghana Police are certain about one thing though: murder, robbery gone wrong, they say. An army statement said Trooper Imoro Sharif was stabbed and killed at Ashaiman Taifa and was found in a pool of blood. The response of the Ghana Army was immediate, brutal. A dawn raid in the pouring rain that spared no one, provided they were male. Voices were heard shouting in severe pain to the mercy of these soldiers. Men and women in uniform who have sworn to protect the sovereignty of the Republic and its citizens were the very people inflicting pain on unsuspecting citizens. The military operation was heavy in some selected areas like Tulaku, a popular Muslim community in Ashaiman known for cattle auction and the selling of sheep and goats. Imoro was attacked and stabbed around this area, according to eyewitnesses. It's been 2 days after the soldiers stormed the area to brutalize these innocent residents, and they are angry.
Whilst beating us, they left us rolling on the mud, drinking the dirty water in the gutters, and doing all unnecessary things, stepping on us like we were not human beings.
As they recount what happened the very tragic day, they say they are ready to face the military head-to-head if they storm the area to conduct such a terror exercise again. They have vowed not to take things lightly.
This thing is going to continue.
70 million.
Do not take it easy with them. Because I don't know anything. I don't know what is my crime. You want to force me to say what I don't know.
They also blamed some of the military personnel for their missing monies.
People lost their money. People lost their capital. This was one of their victims.
The condemnation of the military action has been almost unanimous, even though there are those convinced the murder explains, almost excuses it.
They came out and beat them. I think we all have to admit, as human beings, that there were excesses, and therefore we sympathize with the people of Ashaiman. At the same time, we also sympathize with the Ghana Armed Forces for our young men taking the law into their own hands to kill one of theirs.
Incidents like this in the life of the country do happen. We are shaping up a country, and we are going to have some of these incidents, regrettable incidents happening there. But I will still appeal to the people of Ghana to be very respectful of people in uniform.
So as a security expert, Professor Kwesi Anin says, nothing excuses the actions of the military.
An intelligence-led operation does not result in 184 people being arrested for one crime. How do we repair the damage to people's sense of identity? How do we repair and pull back from societies of fear? How do we ensure that this sense that the state of Ghana has failed its own citizens is not exploited by those who want to hate us? Ashaiman fits, unfortunately, into that long history of what is increasingly looking like a weak civil-military relations culture. The Ghana Armed Forces itself, through its statutes, is very clear as to what it can do and what it ought to do and how it must be done. And I think when the Deputy Minister has agreed that there were excesses, it opens the way for some inquiry, and I think it's a necessary thing to be done.
It was brutal, excessive and disproportionate according to many experts. And since then, the police has moved in with the investigation with 6 suspects in custody at the moment. However, the investigation ends, and whatever it comes with, the murder of the soldier, that dawn raid by the military, has leaves in the community. It also triggers an old age question: why is this community so dreaded by visitors and residents alike? At the terminal end of the Tema motorway at the south central part of the Greater Accra lies Ashaiman. A town teeming with a lot of life and activity, and is very popular for its commerce and trading. The name Ashaiman is a Ga word which means Ashai's town, and it stems from the history of the town. The active community is approximately 45 square kilometers and has a population of about 3,122 people. Due to the relatively high population density of the area, there's also an increase in crimes like robbery and other vices which are frowned upon, especially at night. Ashaiman is a bustling town at night. It's 11 p.m. and this is the hour that a number of traders here are able to cash out a lot. But criminals also take the opportunity to attack them and take their monies away from them when they are done with their businesses. Not only that, if you're walking around this particular area at night and you do not take care with your valuables, it can be snatched away from you.
People are scared of Ashaiman because some people in Ashaiman don't make Ashaiman good and they are spoiling the name of Ashaiman. Sometimes when the people close and they are going home, some of them are from work, they carry their bags on, you see the boys opening their bag. So immediately we see the boys opening their bag, we will shout, "Hey, my bag no, my bag no, mo." Some of them will run away, some of them they will catch them and we will beat them severely. So that is what is going on the street of Ashaiman nowadays. So Friday, Saturday, when the market is busy, then they are also in it doing their own thing.
It's 30 minutes before midnight and I decided to enter one of the no-go areas in Ashaiman known as 18. No stranger dares to walk in here alone at this hour because it's risky. Majority of the crimes committed in 18 include pickpocketing of phones and money, selling of fake items, swindling, and many more. Structures are mounted here for female sex workers at night. All you need is your money and a room is available for a pleasurable, satisfying sex. I engage a few who were trying to get my attention but were not comfortable to speak with me on camera when they realized I was a journalist.
Don't worry. I know everything. If you don't follow me, if you want to say, I want everything, I can come up for you. I go full work, I go turn on my platform, the name and the everything. When I feel everything, you have 10 times like this, I feel on my face. As you try human being. Maybe for Asha was when every night they show for you guys say sweet well. And that kind of money have been fine. Sweet money. What about this kind of money? Okay, I can carry your camera and go that side and call and phone yourself.
Call it a den of iniquity, and you might not be wrong. Most of the people here are dreading in the area. Lawe Osei is one of them.
It's careless because we will see them doing the certain things. People attacking people on the street, taking their phones. They call something like yam. They will use a clean phone to lure you. When you are able to buy it, then they give you that stone. It's a bad practice. And it's scarce. At times we'll be there, you see somebody on the main street snatching people's bag. All the same, it's not a good thing. So it's scarce. It's scarce who first who are doing business here. Once they don't have job, they're actually stronger for what they eat. So they will go in for something cheaper. When somebody influences, let's do this and we'll get our daily bread. That person can influence the person easily and he will fall into it.
Martin Ewuku has been in 18 since 1991 and shares similar sentiments.
There was one time a particular guy attacked one of my brother's apprentices. He was riding Okada in the night and he collected Okada. So he came to tell me around 9 p.m. I went to him to the 18 inside. So I asked some of the people, so I said, "Oh, what are you looking for?" I said, "Someone attacked my brother's, how do you call it? My brother's apprentice. I've collected his motor, so don't worry, we know him."
don't worry, we know him, we will show him. And they showed me the person. It was late in the night. And one guy was putting his son inside my bag. But I also live in Ashaiman, so I know all these things. I just turned and hold this. So what do you want in my bag? He was trying to put pressure. I also pushed the pressure, then realized that no, this guy is a new guy here, but it's not that easy to get.
Ashaiman might be noted for its crimes, but does it give the military the power to take the law in its hands to abuse innocent civilians? Efforts to get the Ghana Armed Forces to respond to this proved futile. Article 15, Clause 1, 2 and 3 stipulates that the dignity of every Ghanaian must be respected, that no person shall, whether or not if arrested, restricted or detained, be subjected to torture or cruel, inhumane treatment or punishment, that a person who has not been convicted of a criminal offense shall not be treated as a convicted person. So what crime did the people of Ashaiman commit under the constitutional provision to be meted with this unlawful military brutality? This action was condemned by many after the news broke out. Several Ghanaians took to social media to express their dissatisfaction with the actions of the military. While others seemed disappointed, others think people of Ashaiman deserve the military whooping for their rowdiness and high crime rate in the town. The Ashaiman military swoop is only one amongst many other cases of military brutalities that have resulted in the loss of lives of citizens and for some irreparable injuries. Military brutality remains a critical issue in Ghana. Over the years, there have been several reported cases of military personnel using excessive force, torture, and even killing civilians in Ghana. One of the high-profile cases of military brutality in Ghana occurred in 2020 when videos surfaced online showing soldiers assaulting civilians for allegedly violating COVID-19 lockdown protocols. People were killed and several others injured during a protest in the town of Ejura in the Ashanti region in June 2021. The protesters were demanding justice for a social activist popularly known as Kaka after he was killed by unknown assailants. The military was deployed to the town to maintain law and order, but ended up using excessive force on the protesters. These incidents sparked public outreach, and the government ordered an investigation into the matter.
Problem in this country where we've made the military a phone call away, but any Tom, Dick and Harry, just anybody can pick a phone and then the military is deployed. Hell no, a proper democracy doesn't work that way. Your military is not trained in crowd control, so why do you want to keep having your military as the first line in crowd control? The military is actually trained in crowd suppression, not crowd control. So when with their training, all you see is they move in, and the only way they know how to suppress is to open live fire, live ammunition on unarmed citizens. Look, these are the things we hear happen in countries that are failed states, where there is no law and order.
Over the years, Ghanaians have complained bitterly about the abuses by the military and have called on the government on several occasions to intervene. But these efforts seem to have proved futile as the number of military brutalities keep rising at an alarming rate. Whilst the Ghana Armed Forces says the operation in Ashaiman was sanctioned, security experts warn this could further lead to the emergence of extremist groups.
Well, it is appalling, it is horrendous, absolutely gobsmacked. This wanton display of lawlessness that makes me sometimes feel as if we are in the medieval era. This action is retrogressive, it is inconsistent with our democratic values. It is never the duty of the military to go arrest so-called perpetrators of a lynching.
An assembly member of the Ashaiman Municipal Assembly, Mi Ayiku Kabute, says the crime rate in Ashaiman has reduced drastically, a reason why the recent attack on the soldier comes as a shocker.
I would say it is wrong. There's a saying I can that if you be a mensa, I don't think you can go to Accra Central and then be walking on the street alone at the time 12 a.m. You can't. You can't. Everywhere. So Ghana is like that. So we should know. If you are security conscious, there are some of the times that you don't walk alone. So it's everywhere. So nobody should say Ashaiman people are like these are criminals. It's not true.
He condemned the actions by the military personnel deployed to the area and also called on the police to speed up their investigation. He, however, will head to court if the innocent civilians beating to pulp are not compensated.
We will not leave this matter to die. We will go to court. Yes, we will go to court. You know, I mentioned the lawyer. The lawyer's view of the house is where they park their MOACs. And MOACs are not meant for war. I see about 6 or 7 MOACs in Ashaiman.
33-year-old Divine Azanku was among the many who were dragged out of their rooms in the wee hours of Tuesday, March 7, 2023 by the military swoop. He was not among the lucky ones who were set free on the same day.
They beat us and they took us from here to Michelle camp. We went there for a while. That place they didn't beat us. We went there for a while. Then they transferred us to Bema camp. In the Bema camp we passed through some drill, and after that they brought us back to drop us at Runabout. They didn't give us Gary. So they didn't even give us.
Bright Declu was also beaten together with his father until his body stopped moving.
He left my dad because he was older. So they left my dad and they brought me to there's a chapel here. So that was when they started beating us. So when we were done, they took us to Michelle camp. But when we were going, there was a necklace on my neck. One of them grabbed it and then pulled it off. I couldn't find it. My phone, some few things on me, I couldn't find them again. We got to Michelle camp and then I have this medical condition, rheumatism. So it kicked in the camp and then they took me to the hospital.
He was left alone after he was taken to the hospital by the soldiers. It was finally time for the mortal remains of the slain soldier to be laid to rest on Thursday, March 9, 2023. There was a somber mood as crowds of people gathered to pay their respects. Parents of the deceased were in misery.
They gave me the report, or the autopsy report.
What did it say?
They said it several stabbed. So their hospital terms, but several stabbed with some written.
He had an unwavering commitment not only to his family but also to being a soldier. He was his mother's only hope.
It hasn't been easy for me at all. Sheriff was my only hope.
This is where the remains of 21-year-old soldier Sheriff Imoro has finally been laid to rest at the Bema Camp Military Cemetery. Indeed, death is inevitable. As a soldier, as young and vibrant as he was, who thought death would have taken his life this soon? But at the end, this is where his life ends. Although the Ghana Armed Forces stated categorically that the operation was not targeted at innocent civilians, but was an intelligence-led operation conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area, the dissatisfaction from Ghanaians on social media pointed out the fact that they are tired of the recent abuses by the military. It is worth knowing that these incidents are not the only cases of military brutality reported in Ghana. There have been other incidents in the past, and the government must take steps to hold those accountable and ensure that such incidents do not recur. The Ghanaian military has generally denied allegations of brutality and misconduct, but it is essential to conduct thorough investigations and take appropriate actions in cases where such allegations are sustained. It is evident that the actions of the Ghana Armed Forces in recent years has been very appalling, discriminatory, unlawful and unwarranted, and must be called to order. In order not to throw the entire state of Ghana into a gorge, especially when the good citizens of Ghana decide to defend themselves against the abuse of the power of the Ghana Armed Forces, to which President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the Commander-in-Chief. Back to Ashaiman. The commander at the Ashaiman Police District Headquarters was still in his office as of 1 a.m. when I was about leaving the community, monitoring happenings in town through mounted cameras at vantage points. He told me off camera he has been at the office for 5 days straight. They have aided in the arrest of the key suspects in the killing of Sheriff Imoro through an intelligence-led one-week operation. So, what then happens to the innocent lives that were brutalized and put into danger through excruciating pain? Godwin Asideba, TV3, Ashaiman, Accra.